Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. We welcome you, whoever you are, and wherever you are, including those of you who are joining us via YouTube. Whatever you may or may not believe, my name is Roxanne Stern, and I'm the worship associate for today. During the summer, while our ministers are away, the worship committee hosts a series of services which are led by church members and friends, with music also provided by church members and friends. This morning, we are pleased to introduce Reverend Cindy Kudo Shukudo Baptiste. She is a Soto Zen Buddhist priest and a member of First Unitarian Church, and she has been a member for a long time. She also volunteers as part of the lay ministry team and is continuing to train with the New York Zen Center for Contemplative Care for improving chaplaincy skills. She also enjoys her family, including 7 grandchildren, and she's involved with interfaith activities and with visiting hospice patients. We also extend thanks to our musicians this morning, Neil Bartholomew and Brian Bartling, and also to Stu Armstrong, who will be accompanying us on the hymns. Let us now center our hearts and minds as we begin our worship together. Now is our time of greeting. You're welcome to stand up, move about, say hello to people in neighboring pews, and please don't forget to wave to the camera up on the balcony and say hello to the folks, including whoever's in Pennsylvania.
I'm so happy everyone enjoys each other so much, but if we could all gather, it would be great. Please join me in the chalice lighting. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights the way toward harmony, justice, and hope for all.
Now is the time in which we share our covenant. We read it together. It is printed in your order of service. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice.
The invitation, words of Oriah Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon, I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you've been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it, or fade it, or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. If you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the sliver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. Please join us in hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
At this time, we share the joys and sorrows of the congregation as they are written in this book, this special book that is on the table at the back of the meeting house as you come in. You are welcome to write a joy or sorrow or share a particular event with the congregation, and then light a candle to represent that event from the source candle that is on the beautiful wooden pedestal carved by the folks at Sentejhaza, which is our partner church in Transylvania. Looks like we only have one written this morning, and that's for myself. A candle to celebrate the birthday of my sister, Susan Smith, who lives in Pembroke, Massachusetts, and that will be on the 15th. And also in memory of her twin, Dale Smith, who died some months shy of her 10th birthday in 1966. Friends, let us rest in the gladness that we have each other to share our joys and sorrows. It makes all the difference.
During this time, if you've lost someone close to you in the past year, we invite you to stand or raise your hand in silent witness. Thanks for being here with me on this lovely summer morning. I've been a UU, Unitarian Universalist, for nearly 40 years. I ordained as a Soto Zen Buddhist priest last year on June 10th. An unsui priest, translated as clouds and water, is a novice priest, able to perform ceremonies like weddings and funerals to serve the community, but not to take formal students or give the precepts, which I will explain about later. In addition to 15 years of Zen practice and increasing community involvement, there was an intensive year of training involving responsibilities, healthy boundaries, conducting ceremonies, liturgy, and some chaplaincy skills, which I continue training for separately. I've also received trainings offered through the chaplaincy corps of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches and got a certification in adult mental health first aid. For me, meditation practice helps me more intimately meet the circumstances of my life as they happen. When I began meditating in my teens, life felt out of control, as in the too much personal energy flowing in contradictory directions. We really can control very little about life, but a conscious not knowing and letting go of that leaves me more free to meet what comes. I realize I can't change things if I'm unwilling to experience where I'm starting from. We always have to begin where we are, whether we are striving for an Olympic gold or better relationship with ourselves and others in our ordinary lives. As I speak on being a Soto Zen Buddhist priest, I hope you will touch in with your own experience of a spiritual practice. I hope you are aware of what yours is and note interconnections within your own lived life. The shifting priorities of obligations and desires have moved me through life, and still do, but I have more perspective and choice. The awareness of meditation practice has allowed me to be less reactive, and isn't that a relief, especially to others? Please be curious and start to notice where you don't usually look too closely. I know fear is behind my own choices to glance aside, to look elsewhere for a sense of safety or security, or to lessen pain or avoid presence with seemingly impossible circumstances. Everything is subject to change. Sometimes so rapidly it is hard to catch a breath, and sometimes so slowly it feels eternal. Meditation practice has increased my ability to sit with difficult to hold emotions, others and my own, my inconsistencies in behavior, lessening my impatience and anger, transforming even hatred and grief. By not being so preoccupied with management of what I find disagreeable, it has significantly increased the experiences of beauty and joy I notice in my life. I still get upset, or pained, or ill. I don't stay as hotly angry as I did as a younger person. I respond differently. Life-centered anger, like at injustice, and personal anger can help fuel positive change. Chances are better now that I can respond and not just react. I've been a Unitarian Universalist longer than I've been affiliated with any other religion. The 7 principles inform our spiritual practice here. I'm betting most of you recall them. The 16 Buddhist precepts I work with are the 3 refuges. I take refuge in the Buddha, in oneness, the awakened nature of all beings. I take refuge in the Dharma, in diversity, the ocean of wisdom and compassion. I take refuge in the Sangha, in harmony, the interdependence of all. And the 3 pure precepts, not knowing, thereby giving up fixed ideas about myself and the universe, I vow to cease from evil. Bearing witness to the joy and suffering of the world, I vow to practice good. Honoring wholeness in myself and others, I vow to save all beings. And the 10 grave precepts, 1, recognizing that I am not separate from all that is, I vow to take up the way of not killing. 2, being satisfied with what I have, I vow to take up the way of not stealing. 3, honoring mutuality and respecting commitment, I vow to take up the way of not misusing sex. 4, listening and speaking from the heart, I vow to take up the way of not speaking falsely. 5, cultivating a mind that sees clearly, I vow to take up the way of not intoxicating mind and body. 6, unconditionally accepting what each moment has to offer, I vow to take up the way of not finding fault with others. 7, meeting others on equal ground, I vow to take up the way of not elevating myself at the expense of others. 8, using all the ingredients of my life, I vow to take up the way of not sparing the Dharma assets. 9, transforming suffering into wisdom, I vow to take up the way of not harboring ill will. 10, honoring my life as an instrument of the great way, I vow to take up the way of not defaming the three treasures. The UU principles and the Buddhist precepts are ways to grapple with the ethical dilemmas in our lives. They are not fixed rules. I break some of them daily. For example, we're all killers. I ate food this morning that took some other life form, even if they were not animal products. And we all lie. When is it best or right action? An example I was given was to imagine I'm sitting on a log in the woods and a rabbit runs into the log I'm sitting on. A hunter runs into the clearing a moment later and asks if I saw where it went. What do I say? What would you say? Does it matter if a family of hungry children are behind them? Do you answer differently with that expanded viewpoint? I recently listened to a TEDx talk by Joe Weston, author of Fierce Civility, who talks about ending chronic niceness. The fierce part might be bringing up addiction to a loved one, possibly saving their life. Or if you know someone is very depressed, asking if they are thinking of hurting or killing themselves. If they say yes, then do what you can to keep them safe. Speaking up about injustice is fierce when done with respect for other viewpoints and kindness. It is also civility. We are endlessly interdependent. Just that breakfast I ate this morning points that up. The coffee beans and oats and bags on my kitchen shelf took the energy of a lot of people and the earth itself to get into my cup and bowl. Do you notice too? How do you feel about it? We only see what we can from our own viewpoint, and trying to be open-minded to others is often difficult. It is a developing skill to have a conversation and even collaboration with those who see the world from another set of beliefs. What circumstances landed me here with you rather than in another community, in a different cultural, economic, and political background, or even a different gendered body? I don't know. I find it fascinating to watch the world and my sliver of it. I had an uncomfortable political discussion with another woman at the gym several years ago who did not vote as I did. I wanted to understand. I did listen. We remained friendly to each other. I have grandchildren that have come to this church and others whose parents don't bring them here because we are too liberal. I'm pained by this. But they don't want their children thinking there is something wrong with the other half of their family, what they believe or how they worship. I am so grateful to our senior minister, Liz McClay, and Pastor Howard Jenkins from Bethel AME for working on our congregations spending time with each other, sharing different styles of worship and beliefs. The more time I spend with other ministers and their congregations, the more I appreciate what it takes to truly meet others on equal ground, as the 7th precept encourages. It is a stretch for me personally to speak publicly. I did participate in a Taizé service at Lime Rock Baptist Church, bringing a Zen perspective to the Beatitudes. I commit to continue to taking part in multi-faith efforts to lessen violence in our communities and to show up for others in various ways. In the end, And with enough practice, often in discomfort, underneath fear, my experience is there is love. In my experience, even hatred can transform, but it was intense to sit shaking with rage to let it pass. My Dharma name, Shukudo, translates as elegant path, and I strive to live up to that clear and simple expression of the Dharma by continuing to show up. Thank you for your curiosity and attention this morning. Please join in hymn number 404. What gift can we bring?
We have been warmed by fires we did not build. We have drunk at wells we did not dig. And we have gathered in fellowship in this space that is far older than any of us assembled. But it is this space that we create and recreate anew that bonds us to each other. We pass our collection baskets to make a community expression of thanks for our many blessings, those we have witnessed and those yet to come. The morning offering for the work of the congregation will now be generously given and gratefully received. As always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all that you are.
And before we begin performing the offertory, I just want to say a little bit about the lyrics. This was written in the time of Shakespeare. The lyrics and the music were written in the time of Shakespeare, but the lyrics relate to an essential part of the Mahayana Buddhist liturgy, which is that an essential part of life is old age, sickness, and death. And it is our resistance of that reality that leads to a great deal of our suffering. And so this is called His Golden Locks. I'm going to just describe a few of the lyrics so that you catch them as they come. His golden locks time hath to silver turned. O time too swift, O swiftness never ceasing, his youth against time and age hath ever spurned, but spurned in vain, youth waneth by increasing. Beauty, strength, and youth are flowers, but fading seen. Duty, faith, and love are roots and evergreen. And this is about also an aspect of a particular class of individual at that time, which is someone who was a knight serving a monarch through his youth and perhaps young adulthood, and as he reaches the old age of like maybe his mid-40s, retires from that active life of war to a life of prayer. It was a very common transition to make. And so his helmet now shall make a hive for bees, and lovers' sonnets turn to holy psalms. A man-at-arms must now serve on his needs and feed on prayers which are age's alms.
His golden locks time hath to silver turned. O time too swift, O swiftness never ceasing. His youth gains time and it hath never spurned, but spurned in vain, youth waneth by increasing.
Thank you, Brian and Neil. The music is lovely. And Neil, thank you for sharing your wonderful voice with us. It's usually buried in the choir, and when you're up here by yourself, you're usually playing an instrument. Thank you for sharing your voice. We've had some vacations from invitations lately, but we have one this week. The annual Women's Alliance Yard Sale is Saturday, August 24th. Here's an invitation to provide a new home for items you no longer need, but that are too good to give away. You can donate them to the Women's Alliance Indoor Yard Sale. Bring them to the parish house the week before the sale. And we ask, please, because we have a plethora of these things, please do not bring books, videos, or clothing. Tax credit letters will be available if you want to deduct something from your taxes. Look for a table after church in the breezeway out here. When we adjourn for snacks, in between the buildings, there will be a table for more information and to sign up if you can help with the sale. Your items will get a new home, and the proceeds will provide the financial donations for local charitable organizations that support women, children, and families. Past donations were made to Adoption Rhode Island, Planned Parenthood of Southeastern New England, Dorcas International Family Literacy Program, Macaulay House for food distribution, and the Conservation Law Foundation. It is not printed in your order of service, but following the postlude, we will be singing together the song Love Will Guide Us, which is printed on the blue card in your pews. May love be your guide. May love be your guide.
Please join me in the chalice extinguishing. We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
I'm going to say a brief word about these lyrics also, because this is a song, the person singing this song, or the person expressed in this song, is someone who really could use a meditation practice. There are lots of metaphors between sleep and death, kind of in both directions in this song. And so it's not quite clear if it's about death or about insomnia, but I think it's about insomnia. And it's about someone just wishing they could just have the blessed experience of deep sleep.
Please, my
thank you for the wonderful music. I hope you all enjoy this glorious day.